There are so many Latin artists to celebrate. It's hard to know where to begin. We, of course, on Broadway have Lin-Manuel Miranda and Raul Esparza and Andrea Burns, but I wanted to begin with one of my life's best friends, Claudia Acuña. She is one of Latin jazz's great stars. She was nominated this year for Best Latin Jazz Album. She's the only female in that category, and she writes music. She's a mother and a great performer, really a unique voice and a great, great musician. And I hope you will enjoy our conversation. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Melissa.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Here we are all grown up.
I know. Can you believe that?
We're women now. What happened?
Are we?
We were wild.
We were wild childs, good artistic childs having fun, and now we're moms.
And now we're moms, in a pandemic, trying to figure this out.
Yeah, but I think life and the pandemic have not taken away our little girls inside of us, because I watch you with your girls and you are a fun mom.
I am a fun mom. I am a fun mom. I went out of my way to embarrass them on Halloween, and I'm preparing for, the holidays and Thanksgiving and all the important things that we do. The first thing that made me call you was a live stream. I think it's the best live stream I ever saw in this whole pandemic.
Soy una mujer que sueña, soy una mujer que baila a la luz de la luna, como diosas somos una. Hey, salió la luna, hey, salió desnuda, hey. Le vino a hablar al oído y al corazón. Don, 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 don. Ding, do, 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 ding, ding. La, 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 lay, lay. La, 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 lay, dum, do, do, do. La, da, do, 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 ding. La, 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 ding, do, la, la, lay, boom.
Was that your first performance?
Yeah, because when this whole situation started and I had the idea of do something from home, and before I could even finish thinking of that, everybody is doing things from home, as you know. And I'm thinking about this and I'm like, this is great, but we're artists. And in general, I felt that in many occasions, we always are the ones who get to be called to support all kinds of charities or ways to make awareness and raise money. But then who take care of the artist when it's time to take care of the artist? Because as I say, even in Broadway, it doesn't matter what's going on in life. We got to keep the show moving, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But who encourage us and who support us? So in this midst of seeing so many artists and colleagues of mine doing all this live streaming to keep people lifted, happy, keep their faces in social media, and keep the sanity, because as you know, we need to sing. It's like something that is a muscle. I thought also it's not fair that all this is being done for free and musicians and artists need to pay the electrical bill too,
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I have had this conversation with my team early to do a show at the Academy of Music Theater in the Northampton, but it was going to be a completely different thing because it was supposed to be a festival before the pandemic. And then Kyle, as you know, part of my team, came with this idea of doing a live streaming, but it's different than many other, with a live audience in Zoom. And that made it a completely different experience for the audience, which they didn't know what to expect, and for me, because it was my first one. And all of a sudden, I'm walking on stage after sound check, ready for the show, and the first thing I see people popping in on Zoom, and all this huge flat screen, and I have people from Chile, from different parts of the country, family, friends, my parents.
I was there.
You were there, like I see my friend, I see people in winter coats and others like on the beautiful balcony somewhere on the beach.
It was in Massachusetts?
Right, in Northampton, the Academy of Music Theater, I found out this is the oldest opera house in this country, which I had no idea.
Amazing.
Which to
Amazing.
me was amazing. And it was
Wow.
very emotional because from the small crew that we had to the person who opened the theater, everybody was so excited to be working again, and what we do, and feel that you are not sitting and just making trip, as one of the cameramen said. I feel so blessed to not be making just trip to the refrigerator. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. So, but when you came on the stage, you had screens in front of you and on the side of you, right?
Just in front. The
Just
same
in front.
position, like where the seats are. So it would give me that impression of I'm here. On the side, it was nothing except for my musicians, where we kept distance. They have masks. And we didn't even have a cameraman because they use a drone. We have 6 cameras.
Oh, a drone camera.
Right. We use 2 drone cameras, so the proximity and the distance and all that visual experience, nobody will have to come close to any of us.
Amazing. Amazing. So there was like a tech table out on, okay.
On one of the balcony, the VIP balcony, was all one thing set up, and then in front and the back it was the sound and everything.
And they were flying cameras around from a machine. Incredible. You looked so beautiful.
I was so happy. I didn't even know how I sing because
Beautifully.
I was just so like, so excited. I was singing like it was the last day of my life. You know what I mean?
Do you remember some of the songs you sang? Can you remind us?
Yeah, I sang, I started with Hey, which is a song that I wrote and is part of the Turning Pages album. And that's a song that means a lot for me because it's a song that reflectively I wrote it to myself in a way, but it's a song that I'm writing to every woman, which basically said, hey, let's wake up. Let's go and dance under the moon. Who cares? Let's go and dance. We're women. We're goddess. We're one. And we're strong,
That's so you. That's great.
I started with that song, and then I sang Agüita de Corazón, which is I pretty much showcases a lot of the new album.
The new album.
Because, as I got nominated for the Latin Grammys.
I'm going to talk about that. Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I was about to go on tour and all that. And
I know.
like everybody else, you and all our colleagues.
Oh no, I was following all of that. I definitely want to hear about the Grammys and so that second song was, of course, your single and has the beautiful video.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is such a
And then I sang a couple of standards in my repertoire that I love, including one that I recorded, which is But Beautiful. Yeah.
And that's a classic American songbook.
Yes.
Yeah, which is one of your characteristics. Of course, now you've become more of a songwriter, and we'll get into that because I'm very interested in how you approach songwriting. I've never felt something so deeply personal in songwriting process, and your concerts reflect that. But you also have been known for giving your own interpretations of classic American songbook.
Yes, that's how I think I got the chance to be known and noticed 25 years ago and signed by Verve at the time because of the treatment that I was given to classic songs like, the ones that you mentioned. And I think that really brought excitement and attention to my way, because I use a lot of traditional rhythms from South America, from Chile, instruments, but always with a lot of respect into the melody and what the song means. Never transforming a song that you don't even know is that song, you know?
Right. You're one of the rare jazz artists that really, when you reinterpret as a jazz singer, you retain the message. You know, I mean, that might be why I'm so obsessed with you and always was. Let me back up a little bit. I want to hear a little bit, if you don't mind, about your childhood. Tell me how you got into singing, and tell me how Chile has stayed in your voice.
Well, as you visit Chile, in every house pretty much is a guitar hanging around. Anybody and everybody plays a guitar, and at any time given, especially if it's food involved and wine, the guitar will come up, and then even some spoons and the table, and before you know, you having a house concert, or what they call right now streaming from home or unplug.
Yeah. Who played? Everyone in your family, or?
No. I have an uncle who, rest in peace, I have him in my Dia de los Muertos altar. Used to play guitar and completely sing boleros and things like that. And my cousins too. My mom can sing really decent. My dad could not sing to save his life. But they're great dancers and they love the music, but never like it enough for me to become a professional singer. They wanted me to be anything else but a musician. Wow. It was nothing ever was encouraged in my house, due to, I think, this concept that many people had about musicians, that it's not stable, that leave it as a hobby, get a better degree, etc., etc. A lot of conservative teaching for a woman like me now, who was supposed to just go to college, feel lucky about that, and leave my house with a wedding dress, which it was not in my plans. So the TV and the radio, the radio first, then the TV became an extremely tool for me to learn. Mm-hmm. You know, and then late at night, as you know, I grew up in a dictatorship, so even that was controlled too, the TV and the radio. So everything that they would put in the TV was musical. And my mother loved Elvis, and he loved Jim Kelly. So every time that something like that would come up, of course, me is music. I'm like, whoop, glued to the TV with her. And I got to see Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, Billie Holiday, Doris Day, and you name all those people, you know, Sammy J. Davis Jr., Jerry Lewis. And I was fascinated because in every single of those movies, the music played such an incredible role. And you will see a full-size orchestra playing in one movie set. They would play the whole song with those old stage, you know, things that don't happen right now. Then I was playing folk music. I was playing rock music, and I was in the choir too of the college, the opera choir. So I was getting the classical music, the folk, the rock, and I discovered this music called jazz. And it was the only one that gave me the freedom to include every single gender of music that I was attracted to it and mix it up, you know, like a dish. Mm-hmm. And because if I was singing classical, they thought I was very talented. And I had a teacher who was really insistent in that I should have been a classical singer. My tone and everything. And I could. But the problem is that I would start singing Gershwin or Mozart, and I'll start improvising. The moment I learn the pieces, at the end, if there's a chord that speak to me, I'll be like, oh, well, and they're like, oh.
So that came naturally to you. That just came.
So imagine I'm like 15, 13, you know, around, and I'm learning this thing, and I'm like, oh, you know, and I'm following the chords and completely like, oh, you know.
No, I was not doing that at 13. I was like playing Yeah, at 13, I was playing Charity Barnum in a musical, just as it's written, or Evita in a musical. I loved playing Adelaide in Guys and Dolls, or stuff, but I wanted to be in those stories, and there's no room for improvisation if you're in a story,
Right.
because it's not your voice.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm being so conflicted and strict by my parents that I think I was like an animal in a cage that then you let it free with music, and I was just like running wild with it, you know?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
used to watch sometime that show Fame.
Oh, yeah, me
That
too.
was my dream. That was my dream to come to New York, or that was my dream to be in a school just dedicated to the arts. And in Chile, that didn't exist.
Oh, I wanted it too, baby. I wanted that too. I did. It was, for me, I was an animal in a different cage.
Right. Are we
Just a
all
different
animals?
cage. Yeah, the mystique of musicals, and just to go into a character and to join a company. For me, it felt like joining the circus, you know?
Right.
And I wanted to run away with all the circus artists, you
Right.
know?
I think if I would have maybe been in a city like this, I would have probably been like you, because as I fell in love with those Broadway movies, my dream was to dance and sing at the same time, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
like, where can I do that?
Well, you do in your shows, you know?
Well, but you know what I mean. It's
Well,
not me, like somebody else, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that's how my early steps on music, and how I developed ways, you know, to learn whatever I could pretty much by ear, because I didn't have access to formal study or training, except for the hour once a week of music that we had at school, which is not enough.
incredible. So did you go to college for music?
I ended up lying and did my test wrong, because I didn't want to get in any other career, because it became a big issue at my house. So I ended up auditioning to go to college to study for opera singer, which it was a complete setup just for my parents, especially my mom, who was suffering so much by my decision, to feel at peace that I was going to be in college and I was going to have a degree.
So you told her you were going to be an opera singer.
I said, I'm going to college. I auditioned, 50 audition. I'm number 10. I'm in. I'm going to study music, classical. I'm getting the degree. And at the college, I started having issues, because the teacher really wanted me to respect the class and respect the music as a classical singer. And they really thought I was amazing. One teacher said, you have a color on your voice similar to Maria Callas. It's a shame that you don't take this serious. And at some point, they went to hear me sing jazz.
A collar on your voice.
Right.
What a beautiful way of saying it. Oh, I love that. I had to stop a minute. Did you just say that? Is that your natural poetry, or?
No. She said it. I'm never going to forget that, because she was really mad at me, you know, because she felt that I had the talent to be a great classical singer, you know, and every time that I would learn things that she wanted me and respect the notes and did not improvise and did my part, it was like, she said it was mind-blowing to be so young and have that power and that thing, you know. But at the same time, a week or so after she came to hear me with another teacher to sing jazz at this club, they're like, you're extremely talented. It's like, you could be a classical singer, you could be a rock singer, you could be a pop singer, you could be a jazz singer, but you got to make up your mind. In the classical world, and next year, you cannot be doing what you've been doing. Otherwise, you're going to waste your time, our time, and you're not going to be good at anything. And I left. And then I moved to New York on October 8th at 7:30 a.m. in New York, 1994.
1994. I met you right away.
Yeah.
I was standing on the tarmac waiting for you.
And I didn't even speak really
English that well.
I was so quiet. I didn't, you know, it's funny.
Yeah. Your music spoke to me. I was crazy about you, and we were just little girls, but I was crazy about you. So let's talk a little more about now your music. I realize that the focus of my show is really how we go on singing in this pandemic, and we talked already about your incredible live stream. And the pandemic, I just want to remind everybody, began right as you were the only woman nominated for the Best Latin Jazz Album of 2019 for your new album. And your new album is dominated by songs that you've written.
Yes, yeah, it's called Turning Pages, and is an album that for the first time I took almost 9 years to put an album, and that for the first time also I made a decision to be my own label, and I started and put it out on my own, which is a huge step, especially after being signed by giant and amazing labels, you know.
Yeah.
It was in many interviews I've reflected and described it as a phoenix bird. I feel like from the ashes I came back with new feathers.
And you had gone through a hard time in those 9 years?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, I'm married, and unfortunately, I still have a hard time saying these things, but I'm a survivor of domestic abuse. And unfortunately, in some of those years, I didn't see a lot of you, because that's what those type of situations do. You isolate yourself.
Yeah.
You're embarrassed, you're scared. And I became a mom. And for a long time, I allowed people to excuse my absence for motherhood. And I came to clarify that, because I think it's unfair. And after I taught a student of mine, and she had this conflicted thing of becoming a mom, and because many people, like they told me, and I'm sure maybe you heard it too, when you're an artist like us, if you have become a mom, your career is over, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt that I gave a lot of prop to that statement, not clarifying that in fact I didn't step out of music because of my kid. I thought it was unfair to make that assumption and put even more pressure on a lot of young women artists, or period, women who wants to be professional or artists or singers, and they also want to build a family. One thing doesn't go against the other one, you know.
No, I should hope not. I mean, but
No,
but it is hard. It sure is.
It is hard. It's not easy. You know, we know, you know, it's not easy, but what is easy? But yeah, it add a lot of things that each person has to make those decisions personal. But my situation is that I was in a very abusive relationship, and that end up in a ugly and very abusive divorce, which unfortunately I didn't have it on me to take care of my kid and also rebuild myself. And
Well, you have, and you're singing. Yeah, you have. And you know, I don't want you to feel you have to tell all these and too much about what you've lived through, but I think it's wonderful that you shared that. And also, I noticed that your live stream was performed in a benefit for domestic abuse. And I did a little research today and yesterday on the role of kind of what they call inter-partner violence right now during the pandemic,
which is something that have, unfortunately, the numbers have completely risen.
Yes. Yes, but they're getting 50% less telephone calls for people looking for help, because people are trapped and they're locked down, so they don't feel that they could reach out for services. Right. They feel less able to ask for help. So right. I think this is a really dangerous and important subject for the world at the moment.
And even that day, we made a special reflection on what you said, but also because children are suffering the same things. Children that cannot go to school, where they have a social worker, or teachers where they can ask for help or eat food, proper food. The same with the domestic abuse.
Yes.
The victims don't feel safe enough to call. And you trap unless you find ways. I mean, that's why in different countries, including here, they dedicated and made a fake number so people can call. So their partners don't know they're calling a service. They think they call in a store, you know?
Interesting.
Unfortunately, as you know, in many of the situation, and one thing that we have seen through this pandemic that is affecting in different levels is the mental illness. A lot of people, a lot of artists are suffering from depression because we've been like sleepwalkers, going forward, working, doing what we're doing, and then life, Mother Earth, or La Pachamama, like we said in Chile, said, "You've been bad children. I'm gonna stop the world." And we're forced to stop the world and look at each other. And many people have to see themselves, and this has been shaking everybody's world, you know? And unfortunately, mental illness is something that is a conversation that we need to have in so many ways and levels, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not just sort of intimate partner violence that has been driving you. I've noticed you've also been working for climate change.
Yes.
Yeah, you're very aware of what Mother Earth is saying about ourselves physically. There's violence. Psychologically, there's violence. Hardship is not equal as well for all people. Shelter in place is going easier for some and not others. Those who have less are experiencing, and perhaps will experience a second surge of crises. You know.
Right.
But you're also, I noticed you were working with all right, so I guess I'm not going to ask you about your Grammys dress.
You can.
Before I go on,
I should have put it on and come dressed like a Grammy. Woohoo!
That's what you were dressed like, right?
I was dressed like that dress, it was made by my amazing friend and an amazing designer, Manfrediano. And he said, "I want you to look like a Inca goddess, because you know I'm half native, you know. I'm completely like the feather, but we're not gonna put the feathers." And gold is something that it was discovered a lot in South America in the times of the Incas and the Mayas and Mapuches, and I'm half of that. So he took this and the chains, like, and it's a symbol of I'm cutting the change. You know, everything has a symbol. The dress was amazing. I had to stop looking at my boobies because I don't usually dress like that, and I had this long thing, and I was like, "Woo!"
I was enjoying that all the stuff on Instagram. You look so beautiful, and I guess we couldn't get our eyes off the boobies too.
Oh my God, he gave me a tutorial because I'm not usual like that, and I'm very self-conscious. So he's like, "You gotta walk, don't look at them, just let everybody else look at them, but you don't look at them. You gotta dress and walk like you own it." And I'm practicing with it.
Oh, you were so sexy and you look so great. It was such a triumph for you as a person, as a writer, as a musician, as a self-producer. I mean, look at all the triumphs, you know?
Because as you know, when you work as hard as we work in what we do, a lot of people just see the result. They see you looking beautiful, singing, but behind they don't know what you put up or what I put up in order to give that. And to have the Academy to recognize me after all these years, and especially after this 9 years of what I went through, and then come back with an independent album, I could not be more thankful and grateful from my producer, Juancho Herrera, to my band, to everybody that guided me to get to that point that day. It was a truly, truly fun experience, and I didn't take myself too serious. So I was in the red carpet having fun, you know. I'm saying hi to Ricky, like I just had breakfast with him, like
I love it. I love it. Tell me what just fill me in. I mean, I'm an Italian girl, but what does Latinx mean? It's not Latina, it's not Latino. What is Latinx?
You know, the majority or the more strong Latinos in New York are Puerto Ricans, Mexican, and then Dominican. And for what I'm understanding, Latinx is someone who is beyond a Latino. They can have more than, you know, you're not just Puerto Rican, you're not just Chilean, you're not just Mexican. You know, like me, I'm half native, but I'm also this percentage of this and that, you know.
Are you Latinx?
I am a Latinx.
So it sort of takes on everything.
Yeah, I'm a proud Latinx.
In wrapping this up with you, I've never known someone who is so not just real. I hate the word real. It sounds like you're saying something like that's not true. But you are socially conscious. You are looking at the earth, Mother Earth. You're looking from a distance. You're looking at other artists. You're not competitive in an idiotic way. You want to be. You love the community. You loved being at the Grammys. You were an Inca goddess. All of that you give and that you respect. You witness the world around you, and you act as a person who is witnessing. And I've seen it because I've known you so long. You work that way. You're aware, but you are calm and honest. You don't have to create like the walls to get up for the stage. You just have to keep taking the walls away. And then when you're on stage, as much as you're a person aware there, you work so deeply inside. And ever since you started writing your own music, I think you've talked about it like you said earlier about it being letters to other women from your soul. Is there, am I right that, I mean, these are poems that come from your cells, you know? Yeah.
They are. And I've been writing for a long time, but I'm very shy. You know, as you know, I'm not someone who, I'm shy, and the stage bring me a place that I feel free and comfortable. And I think I don't mind to feel naked and honest. I think maybe I put more layers after I get off the stage, and you know, and as I'm getting older, I'm less apologetic, and I'm not afraid to show my songs, because before I was afraid, because I feel like you're really showing your nakedness in when you write songs, and I was afraid to give too much information about my personal experiences or feeling through my songs. But then I realized that I have to. It's part of my obligation, so I can connect with people. So the same way that some people make me feel at some point that I could do it, that I was not alone, it's my job to keep passing along that, you know. I mean, I'm not forcing myself to write a song, you know, stuff that is coming really natural.
Yeah.
And I've been building that confidence to do it, because also, you know, I'm not just a survival of domestic abuse. I'm an immigrant who came to this country with a dream and nothing. I didn't speak English. I work like many stories of immigrant, cleaning dishes, being the coat check at the Blue Note, working myself from the bottom all the way to where I am today. And I'm still working.
Totally.
And I hope I can write more songs, because also I feel if I have that desire, it's our responsibility as artists to tell our side of the story with this historical moments that are happening in our own little world and in the world that we see. You've been an amazing person who I have admired and respect since I first met you. A little intimidated at the beginning because you're very strong, but I also feel so much love for you, and I love the encouragement and the love that you always give me, even in moments when I didn't even see myself as a good singer. Thank you. And I love you for the amazing mother that you are of your 3 girls who are going to be rock stars in whatever they decide to do. but you're an amazing artist, and I'm so honored to call you my friend. I love you.
Oh my God, I'm done. That is the tears are going.
No.
I love you. I love you too. And keep singing. I'm gonna fill this interview with all your beautiful music. And
and when all this is done, at some point we got to do a show together. I think it will be hilarious.
Or we'll do a little something, you know, up in that place. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. You're the best. Wow. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Claudia Acuña. She has amazed me since we met, and you can see we've known each other for a long time, but it is her consciousness as well as her musical presence that makes her Claudia Acuña. And I hope that you will spend definitely the next day and the next forever playing her music, because it comes from deep inside, but with her eyes wide open. I hope you loved Claudia Acuña.
Agüita de corazón pa' pasar la pena. Ya sale la luna y salgo a cantar. Agüita de corazón pa' pasar la pena. Sonrisas que se pierden al pasar. Tengo el paso lento que me lleva por la sombra para ver si acaso sale el